Hi everyone, David Schwartzberg here. We're learning the Sefer Shomer Emunim, Derush HaBitachon. We're up to Perek Tes. The last two Perek and Perek Zayin Perek Ches, we were discussing levels in Bitachon, and we brought in the two midos of Gam Zu L'Tova and Rachmana Ltav Avid. We're going to be continuing to talk about these two bechinas more in depth. Let's start. V'hinei, Inyan shel Rachmana Ltav Avid. We learn this idea of whatever Hashem does is for the best. We learn it from the Tana HaKadosh Rebbe Akiva. For he would say this like we see in the Gemara Brachas. Gam Zu L'Tova, Gam Zu. And the idea of saying Gam Zu L'Tova, all is for the best, we learn it from Nachum, Ish Gam Zu, from the Gemara Tanas. V'hine, lefi deverenu, Hachi noima shatana kadosh Akiva lahaya b'madrega shel Gam Zu L'Tova HaBitachon. It would seem from these two gemaras that Rebbe Akiva was not on the higher level of Gam Zu L'Tova. He was on the lower level of Kamad Rachmana Ltav Avid. But HaBitachon to say such a thing about the Tana HaKadosh Rebbe Akiva. V'hine mikaydim nirim nisbainin b'maaser shel Rebbe Akiva shehu b'Gemara shabar Rebbe Akiva lahi masa v'lay nasan l'makom lanu. Let's go into the story of what happened to Rebbe Akiva. Rebbe Akiva was visiting the city, and nobody wanted to allow him into their homes to sleep. They had no choice but to sleep in the field. And he had with him a chicken, a donkey, and a candle. The story went that a lion came and ate the donkey. And it came along a cat and ate the chicken. And along came a wind and blew out the candle. And afterwards came an army, captured the people of the city, Rebbe Akiva Nitzel, and because of what happened, Rebbe Akiva was saved. If the army would have heard the chicken or the donkey, or never would have seen the candle lit, and the army would have came to search for him, and they would have captured him as well. For sure, this was a very good thing. But the actual story, when it happened, it was tsar. It was pain. Because he had to sleep in the field. He lost his donkey, and his chicken, and his candle went out. But even with all this good that came out from it, it doesn't take away the tsar that happened. It would have been better if he didn't have to come to the city at all. He wouldn't have to come on to all this. If so, you can't say Gam Zu L'Tova. When do you say Gam Zu L'Tova? When the story itself, what happened, it itself is good. But over here, what was good about this story? But if we go into this to think about it in the bechinas nafshiyas, spiritually, if we say that there in the field there were holy sparks, and because Rebbe Akiva slept there, Rebbe Akiva by Torah, and he was Asik in Torah, and these sparks now were able to go up. Because of this small tsar that he had to go through. Now these sparks were able to go up because he was in the forest. Now, Rebbe Akiva was able to have deep hasagas, which is what happens when a person allows sparks to go up. It influences the person with moichin kadishin. Moichin kadishin is what connects a person's mind to godliness. Bifrat b'hoisei besoda chakat tapuchan kadishin. Chakat tapuchan kadishin is like the spiritual orchard. And the fact that he's in the field is like that spiritual orchard. And also that lion, his neshama needed a tikkun. The same with the cat. Va'ali dei shetzilu es Rebbe Akiva mishevi, haylem tikkun, because they saved Rebbe Akiva from being captured, they now got a tikkun. V'chein hakamora, and so too the donkey, v'ashrog and the candle, v'tanagol and the chicken. Niskanu ali dei zeh, they got a tikkun through this. In nachshav kol zeh, so if you think about it all like this, not only did a teva come out from this story, the tsar itself was good, and therefore it does reach the level of Gam Zu L'Tova. The Gemara maybe zayis laharis lanu. The Gemara brings down this story to show us that someone that goes with a munah of hashkacha pratis, that Hashem oversees and guides every individual detail. Mazminim loy min hashemayim kol hanisach l'avaydosai. Then min hashemayim they give him everything he needs to do his work in this world. Because sometimes a person has to bring up sparks through a tsar that he has to go through. And if he believes and he strengthens himself with the belief of hashkacha pratis, that everything is l'taiva, then he doesn't feel the tsar, he doesn't think it's tsar, he knows that it's good. Like what happened with Rebbe Akiva, the busha and the tsar that he got, the fact that nobody wanted to have him in his house for the night, and he was a great person, he was a known person, nobody wanted to have him. And he said right away, whatever Hashem does is for the good. Even though he didn't know what the tachlis is, why nobody wants to allow him into their homes. This was the kindness of Hashem to save him, to save him from the killers. But still, we need to understand. Was Rebbe Akiva not on the level of Gam Zu L'Tova? So why did he say just the words which is a lower level, as we learned? Ella, rather, of course, Rebbe Akiva was in the level of Gam Zu L'Tova. Like we're going to explain soon. Perush HaMedrash, the way you understand the explanation of the Medrash, it says, V'oimrim k'dar la'oimer, she'atzadikim malimim ha'inyan shel Gam Zu L'Tova. That they say k'dar la'oimer. What does that mean? He explains what the word k'dar la'oimer is. That tzadikim malimim, they hide the inyan of Gam Zu L'Tova. They don't want people to know that they're on that level. And they say that they're only on this level called Mad Avid. And the Reshutavis of those words are the Lo'imer. That is the minig of Oivdei Hashem to hide their madreg from other people. And furthermore, they want to show the great chesed and toiv of Hashem. Even though it seems when a story is happening that there's a tsar gadol, one tsar after another, that Yeshua Gedolah will be shown afterwards. As is the derech of Hashem to show nisim for his chasidov. As it says in Tehillim, L'yazav es chasidov. La'olam nishmaru, they are preserved forever. V'rotza l'moy l'talmidav derech, and Rebbe Akiva wanted to teach his students this way. She'al kol panim yu tamid b'china shel kol adam Rachmana tav Avid. That a person should always be holding on the b'china of kol adam Rachmana tav Avid. Ki b'china shel Gam Zu L'Tova lav kol adam zeich lezeh. Because Gam Zu L'Tova, not everyone can be on that level. V'lo b'chol item, and even if they are, but not at all times. But the level of Rachmana, everyone should be holding on that level. So those are two answers why he just said the words Rachmana tav Avid, and he didn't say the words Gam Zu L'Tova. V'hine, yesh medrash pliya. Tzadikim einam oichlem ela min hagezel v'aymer kedol la'aymer. There's a Peladic medrash that says that tzadikim do not eat only from gezel. And they say kedol la'aymer. Tzadikim only eat gezel, stolen. What does that mean? V'yesh mefarshim the medrash. Some explain the medrash. Einam oichlem ela min hagezel she'oimrim hakol davar v'davar, because tzadikim say on everything gezel. What is gezel? Rasha teves Gam Zu L'Tova. And afterwards, v'oimrim they say kedol la'aymer, which is Rasha teves koma da'avid Rachmana tav Avid. V'hu be'emes perush nechayin. And in truth, this is the correct pirush. Aval adayin einam uven. But still, we have to understand. Lama kosav gave gezel lashon achila. Why does it say that tzadikim eat gezel lashon achila? V'gabe kedol la'aymer, when it comes to koma davar Rachmana kasav oimrim lashon amira. It says a lashon of amira. Why? V'nira lani is daiti, and it would seem to me to say lefarish be'ez Hashem to explain ki yadua ki mezaynes hatzadikim bo makom gavay ma'od, that the food of tzadikim come from very high place. The ayin v'sefreinu shulchan Torah, and look into my Sefer shulchan Torah. V'gam mezaynes hachelim v'aniyim, and so too the food of sick people and poor people. Bo makom gavay yosef shabnei adam, it comes from a very high place, more so than regular people. L'chein parnasasam hu l'mayla min hateva. So their parnasa is l'mayla min hateva. The harbi tzadikim asher choyu mamish l'mayla min hateva, and we find the tzadikim that have lived l'mayla min hateva. V'al echa min hatzadikim amru, and in fact, it's said about one of the tzadikim shoychai chamish esrei shanim b'li tzipas dam, that he lived for 15 years without a drop of blood. So to many tzaddikim that lived with wonders of Hashem, because from all their work and their mesirus nefesh, they were very weak. But Hashem watched their life, their chiyus b'riusam, and their health. Why were tzaddikim zeicha to be treated l'mayla min hateva? Ela mepnei shesigu v'ro be'ein sichlam shegam kol b'chinas hateva hu gam kein l'mayla min hateva. Since with their eyes they saw that everything that happened in nature is l'mayla min hateva, really. V'chol davar ra hu rak toiv amiti, and anything bad that happens is really good. L'chein zochu shekol chayusam v'riusam hoye gam kein l'mayla min hateva. So too they were zeicha that their whole life and their chiyus and their health was also l'mayla min hateva. Mepnei shedarkam v'avidasam hoye b'chinas Gam Zu L'Tova, because they lived with this bechin of Gam Zu L'Tova, v'hoye chayusam l'mayla min hateva, v'yuchol yom l'mayla min hateva, and therefore their whole life and their days being lengthened were all l'mayla min hateva. V'zehu tzadikim einim oichlem ela min gezel. Now we could explain what it means that tzadikim only ate from gezel. The hainu she'avidasam hu b'chinas Gam Zu L'Tova. Their avodah was through the bechin of Gam Zu L'Tova. V'oimrim, and they said the hainu la'acheirim, that they said to other people, Aimrim an v'sanusam, they said with their humbleness, shehem rak b'chinas kedol la'aymer, that they're only on this level, this b'china of kedol la'aymer, of koma davar Rachmana tav Avid, shu b'china ketana mizeh, which is a lower level, ke b'china shniya musag l'chol adam, because this level anybody can reach. K'mosh amim ha'olam, like the world says, mikol ra nismach teva, that from all bad comes good. U'kedol la'aymer l'shoin helim, kedol la'aymer is a lashon of being hidden, k'mosh kasav, like it says in Bereshis, in Parshas Lech Lecha, kedol la'aymer melech elam. The pasuk is saying kedol la'aymer was the king of Elam, but and this is where the kings were waging war with each other. But you can tie shemalimim bezeh madregosam neged hoilam. You have the word kedol la'aymer, and then you have the word Elam. It means they hide their level by saying kedol la'aymer of command of Rachmana tav Avid. I also want to explain that we know the famous question when you come up to Shemaim, they ask you, were you kaveya timing to learn Torah? The word kavata shu l'shon gezel is a lashon of gezel. taking away. Milshoin, like it says in Mishlei, before I read these words, the pasuk before this says, Al tigzal dal, do not steal from a poor person or a wretched person. Kidalhu, because he is poor, he is wretched. Ki Hashem yiruv rivam, Hashem will take up their case. And then we have the words, V'kova as koveim nefesh, and take away from those who have taken life from them. So you see the word kova is taking away, like gezel. Shetzorach bal korcha ligzal itim, that a person has to steal time to learn Torah. V'zehu einam oichem ela ben hagezel. This is what it means that they did not eat only from gezel. Shegoizlim itim la Torah, because adikim they steal time to learn Torah. V'aimrim, and they say kedela aimer shehu noishrikoin derech laimer, and it's the word kedela aimer is hinting to the words derech laimer. The hainu aimer mon, which is referring to the aimer, which is referring to mon. Ki amon haya aimer asir seifo, as it says in Chumash Shemois, and you really have to read the pasuk before this to understand. The pasuk before this is saying that Bnei Yisrael ochlu es hamon abom shana, the Klal Yisrael ate mon for 40 years, and then it says the next pasuk omer asir se'efa. The omer is 1/10 of an ephah. So you see that omer is referring to the mon, and it said over there in the Chumash Shemois v'loi hedef hamarbe v'hamamed loi hechser, that anyone that took in the mon to their homes, if they took a lot, they didn't seem to have more on their table, and if they took in a little, they weren't lacking. And this was a limud for future generations. That it won't help if you do more work in panoso begashmi. Whether you do a lot, whether you do a little bit. And this is now quoting from Sefer Shmuel, where Yonasan said to his nar, Ki ein la Hashem matzor, for nothing prevents Hashem lo yishia, for winning a victory, b'rav or b'mad, by many or by few. To Hashem, it doesn't make a difference how much work you're putting in. L'chein, therefore, im goizlim itim ba'al korcha l'Torah, if a person steals time to learn Torah, v'oimer lehem ha'yetzer ha'lo yitzarech v'anasa, even though the Yetzer tells him you need the timing for Parnasa. L'chein oimrim, therefore we say, Meshivim la'yetzer, l'kedel oimer, we answer back to the Yetzer, kedel oimer, shul oisi is derech la'oimer, dahainu oimer mon, v'sham ha'yir lanu Hashem derech she'enei moyel ribu hishtalos. That our answer back to the Yetzer doesn't help if we put in more work for Parnasa. V'oimer, it says in Chumash Shemayis there, like we said earlier, v'oimer asiris ha'efahu. The oimer is 1/10 of an ephah, and he explains now, v'asiris, 1/10 or 10, Moira al midas Bitachon is teaching the midah of Bitachon. Shesharsha bebechinas chachma shu yud, which is rooted in the bechina of chachma, which is yud, which we've learned in a previous Perek. Ikke makar Bitachon, which is the source of Bitachon. On the bottom, he explains that this is from the Zohar, that the letter yud from the name of Hashem, Shem Havaya, hints to the sphera of Chachma, and he explains why, and this is from the Tanya, that the Yud is a small dot. It hints to the Chachma of Hashem, which is in the Bechina of being Hela Mehester, it's hidden, before it gets revealed to somebody in this world. So the source of it comes from the Yud, which is the Chachma of Hashem. As we already explained, that the Makar of Bitachon is the highest level of Bitachon. And this is what we're hinting out in the words of Omer Asiris, that the Omer, which is Mon, which is teaching us our Avodah in Bitachon, is hinted with the word Asiris, 10, the Yud, which is the sphere of Chachma, which is the source of Bitachon. Because this is our outlook of how to be oisik in Parnasa. Now we're continuing. What's the difference? Because Kama Davar Rachmana is something bad happened, and you're waiting for something good to come out from what happened, from the bad that happened. As Hashem does, that Hashem, through His Rachamim, will show the good in the future. Like we find that David HaMelech asked, as it says in Tehillim, Al Yevaishu bi kovecha, let those who look to you not be disappointed on my account. And it's written over there in Tehillim, Al Evaish ki chasisivach. Al Evaish, let me not be disappointed, ki chasisivach, for I have sought refuge in you, said David to Hashem. Toim v'yoshe yitzruni, my integrity and uprightness watch over me, ki kavisicha, for I look to you. Meaning something good to come out. Peirush im kavisicha oz noitzer oisi hatoim v'yoshe HaBitachon, that if I look to you, then you will watch me because of my integrity and uprightness in Bitachon. Like it's written over there again in Tehillim, Emunim noitzer Hashem, Hashem guards the loyal. HaKadosh Baruch Hu noitzer kol ha'meaningless, boy, Hashem will watch all those that are loyal to Him, that believe in Him. Gam Zu L'Tova, who she'ena mitzabel l'shem tova sheyitzmach le'al yezer. He's not waiting for something good to happen. He's not waiting for Shemaim to show him something good that will come out from the bad that happened. Because he knows he already reached in the level in his head that the actual tsar and the challenge that he got, the test that he got, it itself is good. Because this was the midah of the earlier Hasidim, to look into everything, to see the chesed of Hashem. Kamuva bekitza chemes havavis, like it's brought down in short from the chemes havavis, who is also, he writes in parentheses, the author of Derush, which again, both these Sefer written by Rebbe Akiva. He writes, Shero Echo, and the Rebbe Akiva lived in the 11th century in Spain. We know a century is 100 years. We're living now in the 21st century. So this is about 1,000 years ago. He wrote, Shero Echad l'chasid sheyesh le maka b'regel, that he saw a chassid that had a wound in his foot. And he said, how painful it is, this wound in your foot must be for you. V'heishiv loy, and the chassid answered him, Ani machzik toiva l'yaitri, I am so holding, I'm so happy and in gratitude to my Yotzri, to Hashem, Shalai Nasana Be'eni, that He didn't put this pain, this wound in my eye. Shurak Balaragli, it's only in my foot. Shezeh HaChesed Gadol Mim Hashem, this is such a great kindness from Hashem. Kimo Hayisi Oise B'Mhaya Be'eni, what would I do if this wound was in my eye? Im Kain, if so, Matzah B'Zeh Chesed Gomer B'Zeh Makar Sh'Beregel. Hashem did so much chesed by putting this wound in my foot instead. And such stories like this, finding in everything that happens that it itself was good. And he brings down here at the bottom of the Sefer from the Tan Be'Eliyahu, and he writes that how a person is chayiv sheyevarich v'yishabeach v'yifor v'yireim v'yigad v'yikadesh shemoi shel Kadosh Baruch Hu. A person has to praise Hashem on everything that comes to him, whether good, whether bad. And he says, "Haketzad, how is this?" He says, for example, if a lion comes to him and doesn't eat him up, he should praise Hashem because maybe the lion was ready to eat him up, but Hashem had Rachmana on you, and he did not eat, and the lion did not eat you. And the same with if a bear came to you and didn't eat you, and the same if a dog came to you and didn't eat you, and the same if a wolf came to you and didn't eat you, and the same if a snake or a scorpion came and didn't eat you. And so too, if let's say you got hit with a stick in your flesh, and it didn't hit you in your gidim, at some ways it didn't get into your bone, just got into your flesh, praise Hashem, it didn't affect your bones. And he writes here that anyone that's mispalel and gives thanks ala kalos on like small things is ki'ilu hispalel, and he gives thanks ala chamures. Let's continue. Last paragraph here. V'hine ba'arnu ad kan hashnei bechinas. So it comes out that we explain two bechinas: HaBitachon shel Gam Zu L'Tova, v'HaBitachon shel koma davar Rachmana Ltav Avid. V'tov la'adam l'fi erech shehu oz, and it's good for whatever level a person is on. Grab onto that level that you're on. Don't jump from madrega to madrega. And as he explained, that everyone is able to reach Kamad Rachmana Tav Avid. And in fact, he brings down here from the bottom that this is a psak from the Shulchan Aruch and Aruch Chaim Siman Reish Lamed Oisei. The person should always be rugged to say these words, that everything that Hashem does is for the best.